God says, "Beloved soul, pause gently for a moment and allow your breath to slow, because what is reaching you right now is not noise, not coincidence, and not something meant to rush you. It is a quiet calling that meets you exactly where you are, without asking you to become someone else first. You are being invited into awareness, not urgency, into presence, not pressure." The reason this message feels personal is because it is aligned with the place your heart has been standing in silence. God says, "You have been moving through your days carrying thoughts that rarely found words, questions that never demanded answers out loud, and hopes that stayed folded safely inside you. None of that went unnoticed. When the soul listens patiently, life responds softly. This moment is that response. It arrives not to interrupt your path, but to illuminate it gently. Beloved soul, attention is not demanded here, it is welcomed. You are not being pulled forward or pushed to decide anything. You are simply being invited to notice what your heart already knows. There is a calm intelligence within you that recognizes alignment when it appears. That recognition is what brought you here. God says, an important message does not always arrive as new information. Sometimes it arrives as remembrance. You remember your strength. You remember your capacity to endure without losing kindness. You remember that even in uncertainty, you have always found a way to keep moving with grace. This remembering restores balance where doubt once lingered. Beloved soul, when attention is drawn inward, clarity begins to surface naturally. You start seeing your life not as scattered pieces but as a connected story that has been shaping you with intention. Nothing has been random. Nothing has been wasted. Every season has contributed something essential to who you are becoming. God says, the preparation of this message began long before you encountered these words. It formed. Through your experiences, your reflections, your quiet resilience. That is why it resonates without effort. Truth does not need to shout. It settles gently and feels familiar. Beloved soul, notice how your body responds right now. The slight ease in your chest. The stillness that follows understanding. These are signs of alignment. Alignment does not change your circumstances instantly, but it changes how you stand within them. That shift is powerful. God says, attention brings choice. When you are present, you are no longer reacting from habit. You respond from awareness. This awareness allows you to move forward without forcing outcomes. It teaches patience without stagnation and confidence without strain. Beloved soul, you are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where growth could meet you. What unfolds next will feel gentle, steady, and supportive rather than overwhelming. That is how meaningful change begins. God says, remain with this moment. Let it settle. Let understanding deepen without analysis. The message prepared for you will continue unfolding layer by layer, at a pace your heart can receive. God says, beloved soul, as you remain with this moment a little longer, attention begins to settle into clarity. Not the kind of clarity that answers every question at once, but the kind that gently organizes your thoughts so they no longer pull you in different directions. You start sensing what matters most without needing to label it. This clarity feels calm because it does not compete with anything inside you. God says, quiet confidence grows when the heart stops scanning for approval and starts trusting its own rhythm. You notice that you are less rushed to explain yourself. You feel comfortable, letting your understanding deepen on its own. This confidence does not need to prove itself. It simply steadies you where you stand. Beloved soul, clarity changes how you view your days. You begin to recognize patterns that once felt confusing. You see how patience protected you when speed would have cost you peace. You understand why some paths did not open earlier, and this understanding brings relief rather than regret. God says, when clarity arrives, your inner voice becomes kinder. The tone shifts from self-correction to self-support. You encourage yourself forward without pressure. This kindness restores energy that criticism once consumed. Beloved soul, quiet confidence also reshapes how you respond to uncertainty. You no longer need everything to be certain before taking the next step. You trust your ability to adjust, to learn, and to remain grounded even when outcomes are still forming. This trust is strength in its purest form. God says, as confidence settles, your body follows your heart. Your breathing slows. Your posture relaxes. You carry yourself with ease because you are no longer bracing for what might happen. Presence replaces anticipation. Beloved soul, clarity invites discernment. You become selective with your attention. You choose where to invest your time and energy without guilt. This discernment protects your peace and preserves your focus. God says, quiet confidence does not separate you from others. It allows you to connect without losing yourself. You listen without absorbing every emotion. You speak with honesty without defensiveness. This balance strengthens relationships naturally. Beloved soul, you may notice moments of gratitude emerging without effort. Gratitude for how far you have come. Gratitude for lessons that shaped you gently instead of breaking you. Gratitude for the calm you are learning to carry forward. God says, remain with this clarity. Let it deepen at its own pace. You do not need to act on it immediately. Clarity becomes most powerful when it is allowed to settle fully. Beloved soul, this is how preparation unfolds. Attention led you here. Clarity is forming now. Confidence is rising quietly. What comes next will feel aligned, not forced, and supportive of who you are becoming. God says, beloved soul, as quiet confidence continues to grow, it settles into something deeper and more reliable. It becomes inner steadiness. This steadiness does not rise and fall with circumstances. It remains present even when life feels uncertain. You begin to notice that your emotions move through you without taking control of you. You feel them fully, yet you remain anchored. God says, inner steadiness forms when the heart no longer feels the need to rush toward answers. You trust that understanding will arrive in its own time. This trust removes pressure from your decisions and allows wisdom to guide you instead of urgency. Beloved soul, steadiness changes how you experience challenges. They no longer feel like disruptions. They feel like invitations to respond thoughtfully. You pause before reacting. You listen inwardly before speaking outwardly. This pause is not hesitation. It is awareness in action. God says, as steadiness grows, your sense of identity becomes clearer. You no longer define yourself by outcomes or opinions. You recognize your value as something stable and unchanging. This recognition gives you emotional independence without isolation. Beloved soul, inner steadiness also brings consistency. You are not peaceful one moment and unsettled the next. You carry calm across situations. This consistency soothes your nervous system and creates reliability in your daily rhythm. God says, steadiness invites self-trust. You trust your ability to handle what comes. You trust your capacity to adapt. You trust your heart to guide you toward what aligns with your values. This trust removes the need to control every detail. Beloved soul, notice how your relationships feel when steadiness is present. You engage without overgiving. You care without carrying everything. You maintain compassion without sacrificing your balance. This allows connection to feel supportive rather than draining. God says, inner steadiness also clarifies priorities. You recognize what deserves your energy and what can be released. Letting go feels natural instead of difficult. This clarity protects your peace and strengthens your focus. Beloved soul, as steadiness deepens, your inner dialogue becomes simpler. Fewer questions compete for attention. Fewer doubts ask for reassurance. Silence becomes comfortable because it feels complete rather than empty. God says, this steadiness is not something you must maintain consciously. It sustains itself through alignment. When your actions match your understanding, balance follows naturally. Beloved soul, remain present with this unfolding. Confidence has matured. Steadiness has formed. What comes next will flow from this foundation without strain, without force, and without confusion. God says, beloved soul, when inner steadiness has fully settled within you, it naturally begins to guide your steps without effort. You do not need to search for direction anymore, because direction arises from alignment. You feel a quiet pull toward what nourishes you and a gentle release from what no longer fits. This guidance does not arrive as commands or signs you must decode. It arrives as ease. God says, peaceful direction feels different from urgency. It does not rush you. It does not pressure you to decide quickly. It allows you to move forward at a pace that keeps your heart open and your mind clear. You begin to notice that decisions feel lighter now. Even when choices matter, they do not weigh you down. Beloved soul, as direction clarifies, your daily life simplifies. You stop overthinking small things. You trust yourself to adjust as you go. This flexibility keeps you grounded and responsive rather than rigid. Life becomes something you participate in rather than manage. God says, peaceful direction also changes how you relate to time. You are no longer chasing moments or fearing delay. You recognize that growth unfolds through presence. When you stay present, timing aligns naturally. This understanding replaces impatience with calm anticipation. Beloved soul, Forward movement does not require constant motivation. It flows from clarity. You wake up with a quiet sense of purpose rather than a list of expectations. You act from understanding rather than obligation. This shift preserves energy and deepens satisfaction. God says, as you move forward, you will notice renewed appreciation for ordinary moments. Small interactions feel meaningful. Simple routines feel supportive. These experiences confirm that alignment does not remove you from life. It roots you more deeply in it. Beloved soul, peaceful direction also strengthens trust in outcomes without attachment to specific forms. You remain open to possibilities while grounded in values. This openness invites creativity and allows opportunities to unfold naturally. God says, when direction is peaceful, resistance fades. You stop fighting yourself. You stop questioning your worth. You move with quiet confidence because your actions reflect your inner truth. Beloved soul, this forward flow does not require you to forget where you have been. It honors your past while freeing you from carrying it forward unnecessarily. Lessons remain. Weight dissolves. God says, as this message completes its unfolding, know that nothing is being demanded of you. You are simply being reminded of your capacity to live aligned, steady, and present. This reminder will continue to echo gently as you move through your days. Beloved soul, remain with this peace. Let it inform your choices. Let it guide your steps. What comes next will support growth, balance, and quiet fulfillment. If this message brought peaceful direction and gentle clarity to your heart, type Amen and remain present. There is no rush, only a calm way forward.